crazy.
We are
We
live.
are live.
We
We're
survived.
live,
Yeah.
not really.
We survived another week.
We did.
So,
Well, it's not over yet.
Back
Well,
from
we're
I've
here.
not been here for 2 weeks, I think.
back from
I
the
don't say
penetration
we've
concert.
all missed the hot.
Yeah.
he was MIA last week.
I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed,
Vegas.
I missed last week.
Yeah.
I missed the week before. Regardless, who's this guy?
Oh.
Hola, Bracito.
He shall not be named.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DB.
We'll just
This is DB.
Little DB.
we're just gonna refer to him as the ninja.
The
Okay.
Ninja.
Bourbon Ninja.
Bourbon Ninja.
Bourbon Ninja.
And our juice was provided by.
The Bourbon Ninja.
Bourbon Ninja.
It actually has a really cool ring to it.
It does.
You might need to change your handle.
I think I caught a new nickname today. That's right.
All right. Well,
We got.
wait. First of all, everything you brought is a bourbon, not or any rye, or there any. You can
Mix.
tell us that.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So they're either high rye or rye,
Okay.
Okay.
or both.
Okay. Gotcha.
Most
But they are
ryes
bourbon.
high rye,
Okay.
right?
Well, not all bourbons are high rye though.
No.
Right.
How much rye can you put in a bourbon and call it a high rye?
49%.
Yeah,
49. Okay.
And then it gets to be a
They call it a high rye if it's anything like up in the 30s
I
or
was
so.
like,
Okay.
usually over anything over 25.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Only 50-50s on the market.
50-50?
Yeah.
You know,
Just
Not
be
bourbon.
blended whiskey. Well, it wouldn't be bourbon.
wouldn't be
rye.
bourbon, wouldn't be rye.
Mm.
There probably is, but I
Yeah.
can't say I know.
Yeah.
If there's not, we
One
need
of
to
those
start it.
Colorado whiskey.
Half max.
Could be
Surely,
some kind of.
surely there is.
Don't say it too loud, or those assholes at Old 55 will make it, just
That's
like
right.
the sweet corn.
Just like the damn sweet corn. Sweet corn.
Which I was really disappointed in, by the way. That is not very good.
Yeah.
Is it not?
No,
Maybe we
it's
need
not.
to get a
It's-
bottle
The
of
nose
try
is
that.
amazing.
The nose
I
is
have-
amazing.
I have the sweet corn.
Hang on, wait for it.
It smells.
Corn
Tell
bread.
them what I said it smelled like. And then did you not agree with me wholeheartedly?
Yeah, it's chemicals and.
No.
Oh,
The
smelled like?
yeah.
Oh, I thought you said cinnamon. And
No.
that was last night.
Yeah.
We've done this too much over the
Rule
past few
King.
nights.
When you
Oh
walk.
yeah, walking.
It smells exactly like when you walk into a big box store, Rule King Tractor Supply.
Real King. So it smells like
It smelled kind of good.
Smells like
Smelled like Carhartts and popcorn.
The American way.
It kind of did.
Dog bones.
It-
Pig ears.
But man, did it
Big
suck.
ear,
I
motor-
was not a
motor
fan
oil.
of it. But they say that the barrel proof sweet corn is the one everybody goes for, but it's distillery only.
Right.
Yeah.
a little strong.
Or I have the barrel proof juice it's bourbon.
And it's
on
good.
55, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, there's
It's a
sweet
single
corn.
barrel, yeah.
Yeah, single barrel.
It's one of the few that you own, single barrel. Because you can't
Yeah.
replicate it.
I know, it sucks.
Oh Jesus.
Here we
Kiss at
go.
all costs.
So these are all either a high rye bourbon or a rye.
Yes.
Okay.
You say I didn't enjoy
Here we
it.
go.
That's right.
Just
Let's
don't
start
like
with
the
number.
idea.
You don't
We'll
want
Without-
start with number 8.
Without further ado, we're going
We're
to
going
number
with
8.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Letter 1.
Are we all good enough to raw dog now? I mean, where do we
I'm
stand
not
on
raw
this?
dogging.
You're not?
No,
Okay.
just because, not that I feel sick, I'm not going to raw dog.
We probably ought to hold off a little bit.
Yeah, if anybody feels like not raw
Who is
dogging,
rolling right now?
we're probably,
Everybody seems to have it.
It's
yeah, let's
rampant.
just not
It's
raw
sanitizer.
dog. Well, it's not
Not-
quite that.
Actually, the alcohol.
That smells
needs
like
not a
to be-
burnt.
contact
That smells like burnt corn.
That's true.
Burnt,
Like
prolonged
burnt,
exposure.
like burnt
and-
caramel
yeah.
corn, maybe.
Yeah.
Are we going this way?
We
I
can.
don't- I don't know.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
I don't remember what way we normally.
it's been so long.
Jordan
Yeah.
zigzagged it. He sends it to me. and
That's
I
almost
send
a
it to
Larry
him.
Oh,
pull.
that's kind of
That's
cool.
hilarious.
Let's
Not
do
Larry
that.
McCartney.
We're gonna zigzag, Cody. That means you come to me.
Alright.
It's a Larry McCart pour.
Damn.
Smells some salmon berries.
Salmon miser.
Yeah, those tainted my palate in a good way.
Oh,
Yeah, they
those
look
things
amazing.
are fire.
They are. They're like,
What is that?
Straw.
Oh, it looked like a cigarette.
Straw paper.
It's what's left over
It's,
after.
it's what's left.
Left-hander.
It's,
timestamp.
Timestamp.
Timestamp. He's a
This-
teacher.
this is a habit I had from my youth. I used to roll them up nice and tight, put them in here. If I couldn't shoot them with the jacket on, I'd
That's
roll 'em
like
up.
really buttered, maybe even slightly burnt popcorn.
Still on the sip or nose?
The nose.
On my nose. Okay, let me
We're
do my two
zigzagging.
noses.
I don't know what you guys are gonna do. You might have to go to that and then Marshall's in.
And weirdly, some strawberries. Strawberries.
I get a slight menthol too, like an eucalyptus. Or,
I get
I love bourbon.
something
That's crazy.
something strong. Kind of there's a strong smell that stands out, like you say.
Yeah, I don't.
Probably the salmon on your fingers.
No, this.
Salmon miser.
The Salamonia.
There is something stands out strong, and I can't.
It is.
Yeah.
Cannot put my finger
There's
nose
definitely-
on
I'm
it.
going heavily buttered popcorn, maybe even a little burnt strawberry.
I get a little strawberry or cherry. There's definitely a fruit note there.
There it
Yeah,
is.
it could be cherry. It could be cherry.
That's
You
the
get
fruit.
cherry
I'm going.
It's one of those flavor molecules.
Here we go.
Science!
Now
Science!
DB's getting it. Here. Welcome. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
especially. What?
going a little
Man.
fruitcake and
Yeah, I get
maybe a little bit of
plastic.
little herby plastic.
Well, it's one of those flavor molecules that's just right in between being good and bad.
Oh,
Like, something's still hanging on. It could
Sit
be
in the
real
sun
good
too long.
if it sits longer, or maybe.
off the vine. too
Man,
much.
something right there is buttered though, right in the beginning.
butter.
Yeah,
We got bite.
I got butter.
It's
There's
almost
a
like
little bite.
it's almost like a buttered corn. Like whenever
I do get that popcorn
Yeah,
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
from the top.
you understand why I wrote that bite me now, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand why you did all of this because you're awesome.
Well.
What?
Okay.
I got a little
Hey.
on that one, just a little bit of tobacco
Yeah. Our leathery kind of.
towards the back,
Mhm.
back of the palate
Yep.
there.
Gotta get it out.
it's got a great palate.
It's got good hang time too. It doesn't go away.
Now this is leather,
Yep.
tobacco. This is oak. A lot of oak.
I'm getting some grains in there too. I don't know which ones. So
And there's a sweetness in there I can't pinpoint.
Yeah, I just put sweet.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put grain.
I got a sweet and a cherry. On the,
There's
I had
little
cherry
bite.
on the nose, but there's
on
a
the
sweet.
palate in there.
There's a
Yeah.
little
I got a
fruit.
little fig with a little cherry.
You got fig?
A little fig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Little brown.
what happened to the slushy that was here?
Rose
He
nib.
stole it.
Okay, I took a drink out of it. I was like, nobody's touching it. Oh, maybe
we're
it's
all
mine.
we're all brothers here. We can handle it. Totally.
We've raw dogged before.
But a lot of oak.
Mhm.
A lot of oak. Kind of toasty. A good toast.
It's got that sweet hit up front, and then there's that. I got the cherry kind of as it was washing down the back come up, which I don't know if I associated that with the nose, and hitting the palate at the same time. But
It drinks like a pop to me
yeah,
for that reason. It's
The big
sweet
red?
and then it just kind of explodes.
Explodes sweet or explodes sour? What do you?
Okay, Cody.
Sweet up front.
yeah.
I put the letters on the back instead of writing it up here. All right.
Maybe I.
Whoa, sorry. That was not intentional. Sorry. App was already open.
And it's oak on the empty cup too, like salt.
Crawford Morris.
I can't find it in here. It's
good.
There's a flavor.
I'm getting new cars.
New color
Rich
in the
Corinthian leather.
plastic
That's
way
the
or in
leather.
the leather way?
I get it in the plastic way.
Okay. In the petroleum.
That part of this was the big box store the other night. That's part of what you smell. We
It's
need
got-
to add big box store to this,
Okay.
or Rural King, or Tractor
Yeah.
Supply. Rural King.
Rural King entrance or Rural King like feedback area?
Entrance.
Yeah.
Entrance.
There is a difference.
So it's gonna be like
Pops you in the
smells like Duke's. Sporting goods.
I like
But I'm not kidding. After I said that, he's like, man, I smell that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I should bring it sometime. Well, I'll just do
There's something
it in
else
the
deep
blind.
in there though too.
You know,
Put my finger
she
on it.
tastes hot, but the legs don't form fast. What's up with that?
Well,
I almost get a
you have a lot of
Short
I
Them
think
are
it's
red,
called-
like an
I think
almond.
it's called bird legs. They don't firm.
That'd be associated
form
with the
fast.
cherries.
I mean,
Yeah,
normally
I've got some of those.
your high spirits have fast forming legs, don't they? That's
Fast
what I
forming
understand.
wide apart legs on higher roof.
That's pretty. I mean, look at that. That's.
Fast.
There they
forward,
go.
Wide apart.
There they go. My light just.
I mean, that almost looks like a whiskey barrel. They're so
I'm getting
even
that.
space.
Look at that! It made staves.
There you go.
I don't know. There's
Yeah.
something else there. I can't pull it hard enough to get, but
Yeah, I'm liking it.
There's a
I
there's a
didn't.
smokiness about it.
I didn't
There
hear.
is.
I think that's what I'm picking up that I can't
I get that. I taste that more towards the back of my mouth.
on the back of your palate.
A lot of
That's a good one.
complexities, but you know what's interesting is I didn't hear one single person say anything about mixing it yet.
Oh,
I
no,
have-
it's not.
The only one that would probably be Matt.
He mixes everything.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna mix it with a Diet Coke.
So he's-
That's how the videos first started. It's like the only thing we cared about was whether it was would you drink it straight or mix it, and it was like mixer, babe.
yeah.
Drink this neat. Mixer.
Yeah. Have it whole Coke.
So that's A.
That's A. Number 8.
I like that.
I don't hate it.
So far, it's number 1 in my book.
Yeah.
One of one. We had a mixer that makes really good fire that one night. Beams
Whoa.
A-Star.
Hey, you want another shitty whiskey I tried this week aside from the sweet corn?
As long as we got
It's
pork
a
chops to
lot
go with
more
it.
expensive
It was a
than,
lot more expensive.
than the Beams A-Star.
Okay.
You have proof on here.
Yeah.
Under
I
other,
just guessed the proof.
under other, I'd like to guess age statements on these three.
Oh, there you go.
Galleons.
And
Galleons
that,
has,
that kind of request would only come from a bourbon ninja.
what'd you get?
I'll put it
Throw
on.
under other the age statement. Your
Age?
estimated age statement on it.
Okay.
Well,
Based on the flavors, I'm gonna give her about a 6.
Science bitches.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'll revisit one. I should actually fill this out
to get this much, to get this many,
because we have a guest and he's asking us.
Can you put that next to the one real
to
quick?
get the
for me?
number of
Like one of
complexities.
these.
Okay.
They look very similar from my angle.
And you know, yeah, you're gonna get color from char, but I mean, you can. It doesn't always reflect the flavor.
It doesn't. That was
It doesn't.
one variable.
I had a 6. Well, this other crappy whiskey that we had this week
Uh-huh.
was supposedly 6 years old, or 16
He's
years
so
old. I'm
bitter
sorry.
about it.
He does.
She was
get better.
16. No, you know what I am because I waited to open it for a long time.
He did.
Waited to open it for a long time, and I'm like, man, and it was just so flat. It didn't have much character, and it was a Crown Royal 16-year rye.
I had flashbacks to that
Ugh.
762.
No.
Yes, it was so similar. It wasn't even funny. And I'm done. Canada. Hey, I love Michael J. Fox and I like your side of Niagara, but your whiskey sucks. Caribou Crossing, even at your place.
Yeah.
Maple syrup's great.
That is true. Oh, but
Y'all
hey,
do a killer
Canada, hey, we're
We-
so
we
Canada, we're sorry. We didn't mean it. We didn't mean. We were drunk. We were drunk.
We make maple syrup in Orleans now.
We do.
Yeah.
But yeah, screw that. I mean, that is it's just what it is.
I'm saying I need to.
I've got Canadian relatives. I don't understand.
And then come to find out, I paid $50 more for it,
How's that pour there, eh?
and I bought it at retail.
Yeah. Man, another borderline Larry pour. Good
Yeah.
work.
I'll pour it back.
No, I thought you were gonna say I'm
No, we're proud of you.
40, 120, something like
Yeah.
I've not been here in 3 weeks.
I've seen
Right.
him. I've
He's
never
got
had.
kicked.
I think the last
that. He
time I
waited
was
to
here,
talk
you
some
were.
tatted.
Maybe.
I think
Usually
I've missed 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I missed 3.
Has it been
Or at
3?
least no one's mad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have been.
Well, they bought a Canadian club that was
41.
What is it? Wasn't Canadian Club, was
It was Canadian Club.
Canadian club. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 41.
41-year-old. It was.
40.
Suck ass.
Yeah.
There was like this much 41-year-old.
Yeah.
I think
that.
Where in America, you have to put the youngest bourbon in the mix on an age statement.
that's right.
You missed tater salad and what else? What did we have last week?
Rub it in. Come on.
Rub it in.
Come on, doctor.
Samurai.
No,
Come
it was
on, Doc.
fantastic.
Yellow poison.
Avocado mayonnaise.
Avocado mayonnaise and fish.
Tell me more.
Hutch Puppies.
Oh, I came in on the tail end of last week,
Yeah.
just when you were fishing.
You did.
I see it. I
You were
can finish
busy.
This. We got time to talk.
That's right.
We got time to talk.
Oh,
Pass it on
baby.
down. I'm ready to see him.
This,
Yeah.
one, this one smells like a
Yeah, they found the power cord. They didn't have a power cord before. We were limited to 30 minutes.
This one smells
Oh,
like
really?
Matt's gonna love it.
This thing smells like blueberry.
Really?
Not what I get from it at all.
Out of the bottle it did.
I would have just swigged that for you.
You've also had COVID, so.
It'd be empty for a while.
Oh, Sweet
I want you to
notes right
enjoy
off
it.
the bat.
I am.
Savor.
Very
Savor.
sweet. Very, very sweet. Very sweet.
You can't buy this.
Now
Right
smell the
Is
carrot.
that right?
I don't think.
Can't buy it, so
You can't buy it because
because
we know where it all
You know
goes.
what I smell?
And
That
it tastes sweet.
I smell smoked maple Knob Creek.
Almost. I
But
mean,
you
it's,
can buy that.
it's not that sweet.
Wouldn't that be
That's what
ballsy
it's-
to drive all
it's-
this way and
it
bring
smells
us
like
to Knob
that.
Creek?
Yeah, it's not. It's not sugary though.
No,
But it
but
has
it's-
that
it's
stupid
got
It does
sweet-
smell
It's got
sweet,
that-
but it's not. It doesn't
It's
taste.
got a maple syrup smell.
I got
to
the
it.
maple
Well, if
syrup.
it's
I
got
got
maple
caramel.
syrup, I might. Yeah,
So-
that's good enough.
Okay.
He's like he's defending himself.
I gotta tell you guys, it's actually it's Tito's with Dr. Pepper. It's Tito's with a little
If that's the case, I'm going to
With a
save a
little
shitload of money.
with a lot of char spit.
I am going to save a lot of money from here on
And
out.
it's Tito's Dunkton raisins. That's all three. I did it myself. It's beautiful.
Fantastic. I need the recipe. We'll start replicating it here.
They'll save a lot of money too.
Kids, this one here is
Smoothness
a,
comes from the Tito's.
this is a rye all day long. All rye all day long.
Quit talking like you know what you're doing.
You know what? I
Cornbread.
Don't you think there's a little weed in this?
In about the past 48 hours, I've kind of learned to hate Marshall in a way.
Why?
Just secretive, don't know where he's at on his days off, and he's like the ex-girlfriend I'm trying to stop.
Damn it, you know where
Just
I
send him
was.
pictures of all the fun shit he's doing, but won't tell us where he's
I
at.
know. In the background of all these pictures that he sends with the little.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to. Where's that building at? Where's
Yeah.
that building at?
And could never ask the guy, hey, could you let go of 2 of these? Because I got a buddy back home.
I did ask.
He don't get out.
I asked for a case, is what I asked for when they
Yeah,
showed me the
they were
price.
being a little overzealous there.
Was
Yeah.
one of the pictures from Montgomery, Indiana?
They're north of Lawrence County.
Oh, north of Lawrence County.
North.
Yeah.
That, all the way to Chicago.
I mean, you could all the way up.
It's endless. Till you hit water.
Right.
See it
Could have been in Canada.
Yeah.
God, we hope not.
Hell of a drive if you get it back by
I was
now.
gonna say, hell of a drive for 3 hours.
All right, I'm still. Did you guys wash the glasses in melted butter? Because, or am I not? I feel like I'm still smelling whiskey number 1. Let me smell yours, just to be safe.
I rinse mine out with water.
I rinse mine too.
Am I the only one that doesn't?
You might be.
I got butterscotch.
Yeah, yours doesn't smell like mine. I still smell whiskey 1 in mine.
Just shoot it, clean it out, and start over.
Yeah, it's like butterscotch.
I've been tainted this whole time.
Yeah. Butterscotch right up front.
We maintain it.
This just smells.
Sorry, booby trap.
Still smell like whiskey.
It's a
1.
booty trap.
Booty.
Yeah. You ever watch Goonies? Hey
It
guys,
smells
it's a booty
amazing.
trap.
Yeah, there's a lot of different meats.
There's a lot of.
I still get that, but not as strong as that one.
I understand.
I get more maple and molasses and
Wood
Butterscotch.
ash.
a wood ash, yeah.
Yeah, not as much like char, but wood ash.
Like you just put out a fire, like a campfire with some water.
Mm.
Not bad. It's got a smoothness to it.
Fresh cut grass.
I get a honey on the palate as well.
Not even put one.
There's a sweetness there that's
But
it's not overly, it's not unpleasantly sweet.
the sweetness on the smell is deceiving on the taste. You don't get that same bit, and I like that.
Now see, I do, I get it on the palate as well. It follows through
I
just
get
like
the
first
flavors,
one.
but I mean, I don't get that Maple Knob Creek.
No, it's not like
Can we stop talking about that? Because it's not even
it's
bourbon.
not even bourbon. Yeah, it's
It is too, says on the bottle, says flavored bourbon.
it's flavored on it.
It's the same thing. It's
No.
general.
Maple Knob Creek.
It's got a
smells like
It's a little bit more expensive.
it smells like pancakes and
Yeah, I was
IHOP.
about to say, we're
It
not-
smells like bad decisions and IHOP.
It's
at
his
1 a.m.
Kentucky General's Colonel.
Good.
I'm getting a little more heat on this.
Kentucky General.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
lingering a
man.
little bit lower too.
Waffles.
Yeah.
Kentucky
This one
gentleman
definitely lingers, yes.
cornbread.
I think on this one we're pushing like a 127.
On the
I'm
proof.
calling the proof on this about a 127.
She's a hot girl.
I think she's a little hotter. I mean, and that's pretty fucking high, honestly. 127.
Oh, that's barrel.
It's
Your barrel.
Barrel. It's barrel. My brother barrel.
I love when I was a kid. I always walked around like, I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl.
My barrel. My brother
What
barrel.
is that?
I love
I'm
that.
Jordan. This is my whiskey barrel. This is my other whiskey barrel.
Newhart. It
Yeah.
is either that or Walt.
I like the spice that it leaves on the back.
Very spicy.
It's got almost
Yeah, this is not the high rye. This is the rye.
the rye.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
right.
it's I mean it's almost like a cayenne.
And that's
kind
why
of
that
spice.
heat hangs in
It
your
just
throat
hangs
right there.
right there, right on the back of the
Freaking
palate,
got a hanger. Dingleberries.
I hope it's fucking
right
Jack
next to
Daniel's
the
Black
uvula.
Label.
You hope it's what?
Jack Daniel's Black
Jack
Label.
Daniel's Black Label, babe.
Williams Black Label, Jack Daniels Black Label, Jim Beam Black.
This is Bailey's. This is Bailey's up close.
A few,
This is
a
Bailey's
few
close.
episodes ago, I brought all 3 Knob Creek
You
store
did.
picks.
Yeah, I saw
That was fabulous, too.
But they are so good and so different,
And
too.
then
You
made
just-
me fucking cry at the end of the show.
No, that wasn't the same one
Was
when I
that
gave you
the
that
same-
one.
I
No.
thought it was the same night you gave me.
I'd
that
given you that one like 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks
it
ago.
This is
it
a
was
rye.
Yeah. This is,
Yeah, this is
A lot of green.
So, I gotta, on this one, on the taste, like the finish, after you're done, it's, it's still lingering on. Like your mouth kind of has that numbing effect. And, I don't know, like.
That's what I'm
like-
saying, but it hits me.
like-
That numbing effect gets down to like right there
Like-
in me, it
or-
hangs.
Like the Orgel, like when you put, on a sore tooth, sore gums or whatever, that's kind of what I'm hitting off of there. So I'm just rubbing on my tasting notes.
Can we
I
put an
get-
Orgel?
Orgy gel.
I get a Toby Satcheries on a salmon, like after you covered the
Orgeat
Toby
feeling
Satcheries
like
on the
flavor.
salmon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sensation.
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 I put a couple drops of water in it. It's me.
I did too.
Oh,
Yep.
It's fabulous.
It'll change it.
He'll mix it
It
down.
does. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
One drop.
Yeah. 2 drops. And
It's just,
I
it's
had
not,
about
not
a,
even the equivalent of a rye.
I had about a three quarters of an ounce in there when I did that, and man, a lot. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It brings out more of that nuttiness, tobacco-ness. I almost get peanuts on it.
I was gonna say banana.
Smells like Berry's Carnival.
No.
No,
Is that
That's
Cakewalk and Dima? What is
cakewalk and awkwardness.
I feel like fruit on that.
I'd get
that
a,
on here.
I'd get some fruit and some pepper. God, that pepper is amazing. I love it. But I
Any
like
of
That is, but
Any
that's,
of the
I mean,
cushions on the rides at Barry's.
this isn't just a rye, it's a pretty dang good one.
It's a damn good one. This could be your long after Jack Daniels.
No.
It could be.
If things were different, I would maybe say so.
I don't know. It's got that Jack Daniels sweetness to it.
I hope that if that's Jack Daniels,
Special.
I'll buy whatever's left. Here's the deal. No, get this real quick. So, hadn't seen a bottle of that in the wild. The barrel proof
Right.
rye from last year, from 2020.
Yeah.
On the way out to St. Louis for one of Lauren's deals over the summer, where I
Get the
phoned
picture.
in.
Yeah.
Go to that store where the Indian guy owns it, and some of his prices are cool and some are insane.
Mhm.
He had a bottle, and I was like, man, I've been wanting that bottle forever. And Lauren's like, take a picture of it in case I ever see it. And I'm like, you're never going to see it. She don't know. It's whatever. I said, okay, take a picture, but you're never going to see it. I had her pull it up the other day. I said, I want to see how much that was because I thought it was ridiculous. $2.99. I called him. I said, you still have that for $2.99? I was going to buy it because it's like $600 now. But at the time, I was like, there's no way I'm paying $2.99 for that. Well, I called him the other day and I said, I was out there 6 months ago. You still got that? And he's like, no. But that's how bad I wanted a bottle of it. I hope it is. I don't care if there's a pour left in it. I'll pay you for it. But yeah, I don't think it's JD though. Just
No, it
knowing
doesn't.
what I know.
It doesn't have all the JD.
Doesn't have all the spice.
I am. That's a rye, but I couldn't tell you which one that is. And
I think
supposedly,
I think she's a little older than that one.
supposedly these are rye. These are all whiskeys that you and I, and or all of us here, have never had.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Assuming.
Well, and
Dug deep.
He dug deep in
And
the
honestly,
archives.
for a rye, if that's a straight rye and not a high rye bourbon, if that's a straight rye, you know how hard it is to find a rye older than like 6 years old, 6, 7 years old.
Right.
Pretty hard. So
Really hard.
I'm gonna say it tastes pretty complex to me. I'm gonna say it's 5 years old. I don't think it's like, yeah. I can't say what.
I got 16 on it.
16 years?
Yeah.
God,
I hope
hope it
so.
is.
I want a
That'd
16
be
year
awesome.
rye.
I do too. I
can
want
put
to
a
try a
one on
16-year
top
rye.
really quick.
I can give you a real shitty 16 year rye. It came from up north, eh?
Yeah.
A boot.
I got a 41-year-old in the back. You want to see it?
No, because I think it's I think it's the twin brother to the 16 I got. So do the math on that.
Yeah, if you know, you should, because we can see.
I am writing down what I smell and taste, not what I know.
Okay. I like
I've done enough tastings to know what I smell and taste, and it's not always what is on the bottle.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I should,
Because that's subjective.
so I should or
And it-
should not cheat.
It can be totally different. Like
I
we-
wouldn't cheat.
When we first started, we were doing the Old Forester, the Bourbon Row lineup, and we would do, like, say, original batch and then the 1910, you know, and then the 1910, the 1920, you know, and jump them like that. So we'd hit them
Same bottle 2 weeks in a
consecutive
row.
weeks. And it depended on, and we ate beforehand on the second week of trying one, and the taste completely
Completely
changed. We had
different.
this big tomahawk ribeye, and I mean, high cholesterol, you know, good beefy food, but it completely changed the nose and the palate of the bourbon. So I mean, it's that subjective.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And now
And I had salmon patties, so you know, I'm smell sure.
we
Smell
need to
sure
revisit.
strong.
I had a salmon patty as well, but I drank a lot of water since.
I have
Because Old Forester's so near and dear to my heart, we need to redo that whole lineup.
We need to
Get
do
Jackie up here. You guys stop cussing her out on every video so she'll actually show up. And
Put Rabbit Hole back
We
up there
didn't even
blind.
ever get the whole thing. On
No.
there, like the end.
See if see if we trash Rabbit Hole again. when we
all right,
go
everybody
live.
got theirs for number 2.
And I've got a random idea as
I
well.
think Rabbit Hole was like,
Just throw this out there
We
to
trashed the hell out of it.
YouTube first.
I wasn't there. But
I think we need to start doing kind of like a, I don't want to use the word unicorn, but like a
Unicorn.
you know, very highly sought after.
Matt's buddy already does it. It's called Unicorn Killers.
Really?
He does. They do a really sought after bottle versus a budget bottle,
Budget
totally blind, and they pick which one they like best, and it's unveiled. And it gets a shitload of views.
okay, so let's do that. We'll just eliminate the.
We will just
the
copy
third
your
column.
friends. What's his name? Sorry, Joe.
No.
It is Joe, right?
No.
I've
Chad.
Sorry, Chad.
Chad. Bowman.
Sorry, Chad Bowman. Not of Bowman Brothers Bourbon, which also sucks, by
which
the way.
sucks balls, by the way.
I
Well,
brought
I didn't
that
know
one
someone
on.
already did that. It's cool if someone does that.
They do. It's called Unicorn Killer.
No kidding.
And he's the guy that you weren't in there in the office that night, but wanted to buy when I found those boxes of old decanters that
Yeah.
were cool. He wanted to buy one of the race cars off of.
One of the old race cars off of you.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So we'll do that sometime.
I would like to do that sometime though, just to, you know,
Right.
put something that, you
Well,
know,
just put it in our lineup of 3.
just to quote 40-year-old virgin, you know, they're putting pussy on a pedestal. You know, you're putting it on a shelf.
Yeah.
People put Weller, they put Blanton's, they put these other sought after, you know,
Because they're on
because
allocation and they must
or
I'm
they're
telling you,
not
Old
on
Forester
allocation.
1910 or 20 to the layman will beat fucking
it'll be
Blanton's and
it'll-
Weller and shit all day long.
It'll club it like a baby seal.
Yeah. And
We have a club going.
A couple dozen under 50
Done
that
it.
would beat those.
and the thing is, if you had the money, buy you a 20-foot shipping container, fill it with 1920, and wait 10 years till you can't find it anymore.
It's gonna
And
at one point in time.
And Evan Williams bottled and bond.
At some point in time, 1910 and 1920, in our lifetimes, you will not be able to walk into your Walmart, your Kroger's, or whatever.
allocated.
It will become an allocated bourbon. It's too damn good to not be, but maybe not. Maybe Old Forester
So
doesn't.
I'm thinking about just switching my entire collecting premise. I'll always collect the old stuff, but
prospecting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go Old Forester
Hey,
and Knob
come on,
Creek
Larry.
single barrels. And I don't think you can drop me off on a deserted island with a lifetime supply of Old Forester and Knob Creek single barrels.
Green apple.
I'd die a happy man.
there it is, folks.
Hey,
We've not heard green apple or juicy fruit tonight, or
Just
we
heard
did hear bananas.
Said banana.
You did say
Yeah.
banana.
By the way, there is a fourth bottle, a D, that we'll try after the unveil.
I wondered what the box was for.
You the man.
Is there just one bottle in the box? Is it?
Something hidden.
But you don't know. Can we see what it is? Do we have to close our eyes when you pour it in?
Yeah,
It's a
It doesn't have
it's a junk in a box.
we'll make it now.
Oh, you will. Okay.
Number C.
It's just one to see if they're.
Let it breathe.
Is it lives up to the hype or something?
Yeah,
Is it birthday bourbon?
of course.
Of course, it's birthday month.
Birthday.
We had some poor man's birthday bourbon earlier.
Had some what?
Poor
Poor
man's
man's.
birthday.
And I'll tell you what. Are you talking the 1950 or the
1950s.
Yeah, 1950.
Now mine's a spiced up 1915
Because
though.
what'd you put in within it?
I
But
got
in
it.
it, can I? What the fuck? What?
Can you speak?
What did you put in it besides the 10 and the 20?
I put 10. I put 20, and
Toby
then
Saturates.
no Toby Saturates.
We'll try and
busy
I
talking
put
to enjoy this
2
fantastic
ounces of the Big Red
Okay.
single.
You
the-
stuck Old Forester.
I stuck
with
Old
Old
Forester. Yeah, it was a barrel proof single barrel called Baby Birthday from
Yeah.
from Big Red.
Okay.
And a little bit of Bailey's.
Have you sucked on this yet?
From a shoe.
This is some nectar here.
Jesus, there. That's your third McCart pour.
God, Larry,
No,
someone's
no,
got
no,
to
that's
drive
my
there
first
home.
McCart.
Wow. This.
I like this. This is my favorite.
I like the smell of it
This
so
one-
much.
This one
This
smells
one-
like wild turkey.
This is good.
This one is so serious.
If this couldn't be a wild turkey that we haven't had yet,
I
unless
like
it's an earlier Master's Key.
Wild
or,
turkey. It's
or
either,
if
it's either a 17 or the 13-year father-son.
or
And Kaylin's laughing at me over here because I fucking called it out probably.
or if it's a wild turkey. Man,
I hope it.
I was gonna say maybe an old one or something, but
Open
you
it.
didn't bring anything old.
2010 Master's Key.
You didn't bring it. You didn't bring an old one.
Old Dusty.
No, I'm saying like an old dusty, like 1980. That's what Heath
Yeah.
Hawkins was in here talking to me. He goes, what's the? He said, what's your favorite thing you've drank? And I said, I don't know, like a '57 Old Forester. He goes, oh.
Yeah, that's still my favorite.
And he goes-
bourbon
and he
I've
goes,
ever drank.
He said, oh, I got the. He said, sometimes I'll break open a decanter. We started talking about dusty stuff. And he said, sometimes I'll break open a decanter, and I don't. Because what you should do is just bottle it after you open a decanter. Just if it's worth a shit, just
Yeah.
bottle it. Take a bottle just like we do these,
And
bottle it, call it
label
good.
Call it good.
He said, I try to kill the decanters on the night I open them. And I was like, yeah.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Not by himself. He said, I usually do it.
Fuck.
He said, I usually do it with the group,
God bless.
You know, I can't nail down.
Pray
the
for your
flavors.
liver, Heath.
This is just complex and good.
But he started talking about old wild turkeys.
This
That's
is
where I
the
was going
good
with that. But he
Yeah.
said, you into the old wild turkeys? I said, well, I'd love to be, but I find them so not very often.
Few and far between, right?
And because that's what everybody, when they start hunting dusties, that was the easiest thing to find on the old liquor store shelves was the older wild turkeys.
Yeah, because
And so then everybody bought them. They're all fucking awesome. I don't think you hunt dusty shit. So it's probably not old.
this isn't a Dusty, but
It's not dusty, but it's got some history.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
it's a wild turkey.
It does.
Interesting statement.
It does smell wild. It does smell turkey-ish, but
I like
It's
it.
so badass. It made you sign a prenup before you had it.
I was gonna say this son of a bitch took all my money. Hide your wife, hide your kids.
I like it.
it tastes pretty
I
good
just-
too.
I can't nail down flavors, but
I would expect that
I
if
like
it was something as
You already
I
know.
would expect that if I would
You're-
like a little more complexity. I feel like if it is as old as
We might
what
talk
we're
about
leading
it.
it out,
Might need to hold
leading
on
it
to
on
it.
to be, but
You know though, but
It's just hanging on.
I'm just telling you from my first drink. I just drank it like this.
yeah. I can't wait till I get down about halfway. I'm
And-
gonna put a drop of water in it.
I feel like
I haven't done that.
Goodness.
Mrs. Bartley, letter C is my favorite one.
Number C.
Also, he rode here with Marshall, and Marshall is a weasel and would pull the cover off the box next door. He'd say, "I got to make a phone call."
We drove.
Oh, you did?
Back
Okay.
We drove separate. I've never seen this. I don't have a clue what the hell.
I was gonna say Marshall will pull the dish towel off while he's making a phone call, just to kind of get that. Wait, what? Okay, I see the cap. It's
You assholes.
It's well.
Just because I've pulled a rabbit out of the hat more than once, you think
No,
I'm cheap.
we're busting.
A little bit of water
And you
in there.
can't see shit through there.
You know, you
Let that crack.
You can't see anything through there.
That's true.
He's more spot on than.
Because that's what I love bringing that Knob Creek is everybody was like, this is this, and it was all the same shit.
All the same shit.
That's the beauty of bourbon.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion.
That one night, Jim Beam. My God, I hate myself.
What, the double O?
Double O.
Jim Beam double O?
That's a solid.
Good
It's a
stuff.
solid bottle.
It's
I
good
mean,
stuff.
it's-
Fill a shipping
Didn't
container.
wanna say it
Try to
before.
find it in 10 years. Try to find it in 10 years.
It's better than Woodford double O. Way
It
better
is.
than Woodford double O.
It is.
I
It
had
is.
them.
You're not wrong.
I had inspired
It is.
shots.
Do you have both? Nothing. Never mind. Nothing. Do you have both in your collection?
I
tasted them.
I do have both in my collection. And
Just most people would say Woodford, they throw it way up on.
Sure they do.
Woodford
Brown
Farm,
Foreman.
they
They
do.
pussy on pedestal.
That's right. They put it on.
And the Woodford's master, the you know every year Woodford puts out the masters. It's not masters collection.
It's a master.
Master distillers or whatever. So there's like 3 a year, or 2 a year, whatever it is.
Coming in funky.
Those are
looking
so
bottles.
fucking hit and miss. They're either great or they fucking suck.
Yeah, I mean it's wonderful, or it's you
And it's
start
hot.
a bottle.
I bought the one last year, not 2021, but I bought 2020's, which was the very fine rare bourbon. And then this one this year was the five something chocolate malt or something like that. It was a 5
Yep.
chocolate malt that they used. But
I
when
think
their
so.
batch proofs are really good. The
think
batch proofs are great, but some of these master selections or whatever the hell they're called are.
I don't know why.
But there's so many people that I don't know what it is about Woodford. You go to the distillery, which you've probably been to, but you haven't. Yeah. So it's beautiful. The bottle's cool. It's a very obtainable bourbon that they make you feel like you are not drinking this. You're drinking this, and they do a very
base tier is good enough.
They do a very good job of getting you to spend that extra $10 to $15 for something that's.
It could be the.
And now I'm talking about baseline Woodford, double oaked. Then they're like, "Oh, I'm a little risque. I'm going double oaked," and and it's good because it's different. But there's a lot better. I mean, hell, 1910's 1,000 times better, and made by the same company.
Maybe
if you
the
want
same
to be honest
company.
with you. But it's Woodford has this weird niche. Like people that want to say they're into bourbon but really aren't. They'll give you a bottle of Woodford for your birthday. Gee, thanks.
You're right.
Somebody sent me a picture today of Willet Pot Still, and they go, "Is this any good?" And here's exactly what I wrote.
Oh no.
No, I
hates
had a
Willet.
one-word response. I wrote "turd," and he goes, "Oh Jesus." He goes, "Well, I didn't pay for it. It was a gift from a client." I said, "Well, it's a really nice gift."
It's the coolest bottle, one of the coolest bottles on the market that has the worst tasting liquid that you can humanly fucking distill inside.
Yeah. He goes, "Is this any good?" I said, "Turd." One word. Turd.
What?
I don't know how they get it that bad. I don't know how they make bourbon suck that bad.
The Willet that you brought 2-3 days.
Their
before
special
Christmas,
releases
It was
are
really
fire.
good. It
Their
was- and you
special
need to have
releases.
some.
are
He
great.
saved me some. He said.
It's in
I
the
feel like
bucket.
I saved it for you.
You did say
Well, it makes Noah's Mill,
they
right?
do. They make Noah's Mill and Rowan's Creek, and which aren't bad, but that pot still. I
Sucks
wouldn't.
ass.
It sucks ass. I wouldn't
That's
make
what
a
that old boy
Molotov
said
cocktail
that was
out
sitting
of
over
it.
here. He said,
It's
"Don't
that
get
bad.
that."
I wouldn't light it on fire and throw it in a tank if I was in Israel trying to blow one up.
Oh.
That's how bad it is.
I kind of
The guy that was
I don't
sitting
think it would
there,
explode.
He said, "Get that Maker's Mark, the special one that they
Private
have."
selection.
Yes, he said, "Buy that stuff up. That's going to be the next one."
Well, the private selections are so cool that you can, you can select your stave profiles that go
Right.
into these barrels.
Right, you get
My favorite.
Yeah, I mean they have those 5 staves.
Yeah.
You can throw a 5-5-0-0-0.
Yes, which is so
so
cool.
much different than a
Number C.
1-2-2-1.
Yes. So
Yeah.
cool.
Makes a huge difference.
makes a huge difference. Yeah, that.
Marshall and I got educated on that at Bottles Unlimited in New Albany.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Nicest people, great. I mean, hell, they
Great
welcomed
people.
us in with open arms.
This
If
is one.
you're in the
If you're in the New Albany,
area.
Floyd's Knobs, Greenville area,
If
hit
you're
Bottles Unlimited.
if you're within driving distance, hit.
Say hi to Kelly and Laura.
Shitload of store picks. Great staff. Great tasting selection there as well. It's good. Good store. Good
Jordan, go for it. Tell us what you think.
What do we have here?
What do we have here?
Yeah.
He didn't write notes.
I never do.
You don't have to. Just tell us what you think.
I probably like B the best.
Okay.
I think C's probably the oldest, and I think. I mean, they were all really good. This is one of those where it's like, I'm going to take. I mean,
Pick a favorite.
it's like if we throw this guy in the dumpster, I'm taking all of his bourbon. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Like we're not pouring out a little for him because we just killed a guy.
We're not pouring one out. We're drinking it.
So I'm gonna go B1, C2, yeah, and
A3.
A3. I'm sorry.
And you got to rank that.
I'm gonna say the only one I did anything for was B. I thought it was 127, 5 years old. C is probably I feel like older than that, probably maybe even 10 years old, but I don't think it's as high of a proof.
Throw that down there and look at the colors.
Again, to me they're very equal unless I'm blind as a bat.
I think they're
When you get down that far, it's hard.
I think C is the lightest in color. A and B looked a lot alike.
Yeah.
So to me,
But I
C
did say
taste
C was
C
oldest.
tasted a little older to me, but
Just
so I'm gonna say T or C. Let's say is 10 years old. I'm gonna say it's 120.
B had that spice though.
And I'm gonna try. And I said I was gonna try A again. I said I was gonna try A again.
Road dog.
Right on.
I will roll down this one.
Going around dog.
All right.
That's been B again.
Passing the B.
So
Number B.
I had.
A I'm gonna say is 96,
now you go. Roll with it.
and I'm
So
gonna
I had-
say it's.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say it's 6 to 8 years old.
Which one? A?
Yep.
So I had
Similar.
lower proof on 1A, whichever one you want to call it. 6 years old. I was close to 100 proof on it. I only put 98 on it.
Which one?
On
That's
A.
A.
Okay, I got 96.
B, I had 114 on it, but I only have 4 years old on it. And then C, I thought was the highest proof. I had 129 on it. I did say it was the oldest. It was also my favorite. They all had really so B and C had similar noses. B was like double.
We
O.
can really tell who are
Right.
the good students and the bad students. Oh my God, would you guys look at this? This is Cody's notes. These are mine. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Got
My
tingles
God, that's
already.
impressive. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
say. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm with
Yeah.
Jordan. I'm like chicken scratches.
I'm a bit of a
Yeah.
procrastinator.
So
I draw Fred Minnick going cornbread.
I had C as my number 1.
Okay.
I had A as my number 2, only because I gravitate more toward the sweetness instead of oak. And then B is my number 3. They're all really close together.
They're very good. They're very similar.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know. I want to say I think A may even be the oldest of the bunch, but I put 6 to 8 on it and 10 on C. Because C tasted older to me, but A looks older to me.
Yeah, you guys are both done and scored.
You said C was the oldest.
So
I did too. But I just said I think A looks the oldest, but I think C tastes the oldest.
you see, that was a taste. Yeah.
Okay.
Just by taste on that one.
All right, let's do it.
Matt?
Oh shit! Sorry, no, we've only gone through like 3 people. Sorry,
Two
If
people.
y'all can politely just shut the hell
sorry,
up.
guys.
Welcome back, boy.
Welcome back to the show, Jordan.
He just called one arm bandit.
Okay, let's go. We got 4 more people to review.
Somebody, does that red and white hook drag me off the stage?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the curtains.
My bad. I thought
Go ahead, Matt.
We got 5 more to go. Can we get a muzzle?
That's usually what we put on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, take the one off your wife and give it to me.
Oh, hell.
Okay,
I don't want
Matt.
to say another fucking word.
Okay.
No, you would.
Bullshit.
For me, I was BCA in my rankings. I don't know since I started drinking at 2:30 this afternoon. I'm a little
2:30.
2:30.
well, anywho.
Why?
So the no's for me on all these were pretty much the same. I don't know what's going on there.
Cornbread.
Cornbread. I'm getting the PVC. I'm getting plastic smell, which could be
Could be infection.
could be
It
anything.
could be the funnel they use to pour it.
That's weird.
I said A was a 96 proof, 6 year. B, I went 118, 6 year. C, I went 110, and I didn't even write an age statement on it. Oh, I thought it was phenomenal.
No.
Yeah.
Really good.
But yeah, B was my favorite. So.
Are you mixing them?
Yeah, of course.
We've
But-
had this
but I would-
discussion.
I
Right
would-
now, mixing it with
But I would definitely drink them all neat or with a little bit of water. So.
Now I can say this, and maybe it's because my palate's changing. I've had some bourbons here lately that I used to that I liked, but I like them neat, and then I mix them, and it changes the flavor profile. I'm like, no, this you got to drink this one out of. You got put some water in it, or put a rock in it, or something. Drink it that way.
Yes.
And I've had a few that way that I'm like, God, this tastes like shit in Diet Coke.
Yes.
This is awful. This is bad choice. Doug, what'd you think?
You know,
Oh, we're going back to it and then
I
you're gonna
really-
do the finale.
I
like that.
I really enjoyed C. C was my baby. It was smooth. It had flavors that were complex, and I couldn't identify them. I had a lot of A's and B's on the other flavors.
Sure.
But this was a very complex and smooth flavor. It lingered quite a bit.
Still get
I think it's got a lot of age to it. I'm not sure what the age is. I'm going to say 10 plus.
It's
And
damn near old enough to vote, I'd say.
yeah.
Jordan's biting his lip down there.
Depending on the state.
Stop it.
I think all three of them were above
What
100.
you thought they were?
No, I didn't write
I think all three were
I did
above
all
100.
I think that one there's.
But C was my favorite.
See what?
Yes.
Number C.
I like them all. I mean, if you want me to rank them,
What kind of
B was next.
trail is he right?
B was next.
Yes. B was my number 2. A was my number 3. But I mean, I loved them all. They were awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes, they were.
Jordan hates us all, by the way. That's why we're laughing. He's
says
not
so.
speaking, and he's written it. He's scribed it in stone. He hates us all.
Hate you all. Exclamation. mark.
Exclamation mark.
Well, that doesn't bother me at all. So, so A, I thought was a 108, 9-year. Just throwing. I have no idea about the age statement. So, B, 123. I thought it was the oldest, 12-year, and then I thought C was the hottest, but not the oldest. I thought C was 130, and.
Scorcher.
And yeah, Scorcher. I put Hot Baby on.
Bad
And
baby,
then
bad
I
baby.
thought it was an 8, and I was the same as the guy that hates me and Matt. I like B, number B first, number C 2, number A 3rd place. But they were all amazing. To the Bourbon Ninja.
130. You know what I
So,
just realized?
the bourbon.
You can't pull the cork off of something that ain't got a cork.
That's right. I was watching you go.
You saw that?
So
I see my area quarters there.
Bourbon Ninja.
My notes, based off what I
Okay.
smelled and tasted, not what I know. First things first. C. I don't know what that proof's all about. Okay. A is my number 3.
you just rank them. How about that? And then
I'll just rank them.
Yeah, just rank them.
I
Because
gotta
you
give
gotta-
my nose.
you-
My nose on
give
A.
your nose.
My nose on A. Standing on a ladder in a burning cherry grove. All right. And so my number 1 is B. My number 2 is C. All right.
There you go. All right, fair
That's a
enough.
very specific nose.
That was a very specific note.
Man, I could smell it.
I had cherry, I had oak on A, and I had a lot of char and leather on B, and C I didn't put down any nose or palate notes. But so I ranked them. B as number 1, C is number 2, and A is number 3. That's how I ranked them. Proof wise, A I had a 107 proof. I had it 12 years old. B I had a 123 proof 6-year-old, and C I had a 100 proof 17 years old. I think C is Wild Turkey bottled in Bond Master.
17 years old? Joe Dan.
Let's see it.
Oh, do I get to do
Well,
I could-
just
so-
before you reveal,
Just because of how
Man, I should just-
Your
light
proof looks good.
my
Jordan?
proofs are good.
Pretty close.
Do you have
Well-
guesses on A and B?
About what?
What
Right,
they
they
are?
are.
Oh, A and B?
Anybody got any guesses on what they are?
Thank God.
Not really.
A almost tastes like Weller
think-
107.
Honestly, if
I
you
think
drink
they're all phenomenal.
if you drink a bunch, it's really hard to kind of keep track.
It's
of
hard to
what's
keep
fucking
track.
What.
It
You,
is.
and I drink a lot of fucking bourbon.
and
I
I,
do.
Which one
and I
surprises me
don't.
when he-
So I want to say that my proofs and stuff and all this is I'm a student here, and if you watched any of the videos, I'm the most ignorant person at this table.
Negative, Joe
Come on
Strap.
back. I'm right there with you.
And I'm not
Hang
ashamed
on,
to admit
I
You
do
said
want to
negative,
taste
so
it.
who is?
There's
No,
no,
okay.
there's no such thing as ignorance in bourbon.
Definitely
It's all
not.
subjective.
It's very
So what we got?
subjective.
Let's see it.
So
Hang on.
A.
A.
Go for A.
DT,
Hang
you
on,
just fart.
Dalen, help us out here.
Yeah. Do you like that?
Which one? Is this A?
Size.
So
Oh,
this
God.
is Hard Truth Distillery in Brown County,
And this is
Nashville, Indiana. Hold on, let's talk about the
this
first
is,
one first.
This is what? Which
So
one?
this is
Which
their
one?
Sipes.
This is which one?
This
Oh,
A.
this is
This is letter A.
This is A. Okay.
So Sipes is their first thing they released.
But
It's
it-
sourced
MGP juice.
possibly. I don't honestly know the answer to that. What's the proof? It's on the side.
90.
90 proof.
Straight rye whiskey.
It's straight rye whiskey, and this is double smoked. So what they do a little something different compared to a lot of people that do smoked whiskeys. They actually fill the barrel with smoke before they fill it with whiskey,
Ah.
and then they let it sit for an extended period of time on the smoke.
Nice.
So that's the Sipes collection, is like a experimental double oaked smoked barrel collection.
Which
What
is-
about their Schoonover stuff? That's $250 a
I've
bottle.
had it, but I couldn't afford to bring you that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
why
I'm
could
doing
you?
here.
And it's
I would guess
mediocre at
108,
best. It's
but
sourced
minus
from Dickel.
18, it's actually what it was.
It's false.
There you go.
9 years
But
minus
What?
5 is actually
Is that it's sourced from Dickel?
Yeah.
Where's it sourced from in
That's
Tennessee?
mathematics.
This is
I don't know
mathematics.
the answer to that, but I know for sure that it's not Dickel and it's not Tennessee.
It is Tennessee. It says it's Tennessee on the bottle, and it's Dickel juice. It's 14-year-old Dickel juice.
That's the rumor.
It's double.
That's the
Not that. We're talking
We're
about.
talking-
Oh, I know. I'm just
Double.
reading from the
That's
deal here.
that's
You
another
think it's
day's-
Jack
that's-
Daniels
That's
juice?
another day's conversation.
You think it's Jack Daniels juice? Where else in Tennessee?
From what I've heard, it's
Tullahoma
not
or-
either of the things that you're talking about. And it's not from Tennessee, but
It says Tennessee on the bottle. That's illegal.
have you seen the
Straight
bottle?
rye
Yeah.
whiskey.
Because I don't know.
115 proof.
But I could be wrong.
That was
So
one off.
back to what we're actually tasting.
I was full
It's a beautiful flavored
115?
bottle, and I would say worth the money for what you were talking about.
115?
Well, yeah, because that shit's way
No.
over.
So
Here's your rye.
the second
Both
one
ryes.
is the first thing from Hard Truth that was distilled
Yeah,
in
that's right
house.
too.
Distilled barrel bottled whiskey. wise.
115.2.
Nice.
What was the first one age?
90.
90.
No, age.
Age 4 years.
4 years on the first one.
Age 4 years on the first one.
So I got 9 minus 5 equals 4.
I suck tonight.
Yeah, I really suck.
I was close on
Straight
proof.
rye.
Mash distilled and aged. Yeah, I've seen this. This one Indiana bourbon's like rye or whiskey of the year. or
Fred
something
Minnick
like that.
ranked it 48th out of
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Never mash rye. I'm just looking at it real quick.
Sweet mash rye.
Sweet Mash. Not
That's
sour.
a different word than the, what you're used
Just
to.
so you know, I am the student and I also can't read.
Indiana.
So that bottle right there is historical. So they passed a law back in July to make Indiana rye a category of spirits.
I saw where they were releasing this.
Similar to Kentucky bourbon, Tennessee whiskey.
Hilarious! It's only
Scotch,
4 years
Irish.
old.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
good
sourced.
shit.
So that is MG.
You know what? Every time I fall in love with something, it's a goddamn lie.
I know, it's really surprising. So I'm not a rye guy. I like bourbon, but these three really blew my mind. That one is a piece of Indiana history. We'll have Indiana rye tourism in 10
Yeah.
years like Kentucky bourbon too.
I hope.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
see.
awesome.
I mean, MGP's been making the best ryes in the world for years. You know, I mean, forever. So,
He hates MGP.
I do not hate
no,
MGP.
no.
Hey,
you don't
you
have
don't
to.
get MGP
all the time. No, I don't.
it's okay. They make a
You
lot of
just say that.
products. You know,
They
not
just
every single one of them. is home
Please,
brand.
MGP. It would
No, I say if they get it from there, I love smoke
All right.
wagon and it's MGP.
Smoke wagon straight MGP.
Absolutely.
It's just aged in
I do
Nevada.
not hate
see
MGP.
that.
I feel like we're a little bit testy tonight here.
No.
Yeah.
It's Indiana. I love it.
Okay.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not what
No,
got
I
from
hate
the
Old
show.
Hamer.
That's
Old
why I
Hamer
brought
is
it to
sort
the
of
table.
They
It's 'cause
fucking suck.
It's
Everything
made in
they fucking
Indiana
suck.
and it made Indiana history. So they worked with Holcomb and all them, and they
Yeah.
passed the Indiana
I read all
Rye
about
Act.
it on their
It's
website.
on the
yeah.
side. It has the Rye Act on there, so you can read about it.
1396.
But I want to know where Schoonever comes from.
Can't tell you that. I don't know the for sure answer for that, but it's definitely.
And they're
I
all
think it's Tennessee. I
4-year-old.
mean, I'll
It
look,
is Tennessee.
I'll look soon, but
Yeah.
The
An hour down the
Post.
road.
from what I was told, it's a bourbon, and
Well,
I guess it can be. From
Tennessee whiskey is Jack Daniels is a bourbon.
Yeah.
They pay a lot of money
would
to say
Jack
they're not.
Daniels or Dickel make something that wasn't charcoal filtered? Do they? I don't know.
Does-
The answer to that question.
They don't have to say it's charcoal
I
filtered.
know a lot of things.
Charcoal filter doesn't. Charcoal
I've never had
filter.
one truth.
Doesn't mean it's not a bourbon.
Charcoal filter doesn't mean it's not a bourbon at all. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Doesn't affect it at all.
Just has to go in an oak vessel.
Just has to go in note barrel.
Doesn't. Charcoal filter doesn't matter at all.
They
You
just want to
can,
be
you can
different.
filter. You can not filter it. You can filter it through a cheese.
You can do
cloth.
whatever you want. It's
You
before it
could-
gets barreled.
You could filter it through Jordan's Feeney cap if you wanted to before it.
I thought the word unfiltered was used in the bourbon legislation.
No,
But
not
I
at
could be
all.
wrong. I don't know everything.
I do.
I know a lot of
And
things
that's
about
no.
it.
I'm just kidding. No, I don't know it. I don't know everything, but no. Tennessee whiskey is bourbon.
Absolutely.
They pay a lot of money to say they're Tennessee whiskey. I hope this is Schoonever.
Oh no. This is a Indiana rye, legal Indiana rye.
Single
Mash
barrel.
bill B, single barrel. So they released mash bill A, 51% rye. They released mash bill B, 55% rye.
Oh shit.
Barrel proof.
Yeah.
Whereas that is 100 proof,
What's the
It's
what's the
not
proof on
130.
that? Barrel proof on that?
115.3.
Oh wow.
So they like to do a lot of stuff barrel proof.
Yeah.
And the little badge on the Hard Truth Sweet Mash, which honestly, the Hard Truth Sweet Mash is the one we should be all be talking about. Because that's the
It's
first time
fine.
they distilled barrel bottle.
I know. I've seen it a bunch on social media.
The
Yep.
gold badge
That was
on
my
there,
number one.
it says Sweet Mash Pioneers because they're doing the Sweet Mash process. on
Well,
the
heck,
side.
it was my number one. Yours. Yours.
Yeah.
It was my last one.
Oh really?
There's a reason
Of the
Minnick
three,
picked
they
it.
were all good.
Fred
But that
Minnick,
one was my
to
last
quote Fred Minnick, not verbatim, but he said that was the best first batch
Of any
of any
distillery.
distillery. he's
Best
ever-
first batch that came
I
out of
agree
the
with that.
distillery.
It blew my balls off. I mean, I
Yeah.
love
It's
that
good.
Sweet Mash rye. I think it was
On there,
a
right?
great product. And if you want to see the
I
age
looked-
statement, look at the barcode just underneath.
Yeah, that'll freak you out even
Yeah,
more.
because what did you say? 12 year?
I said
You better throw
17.
the-
I said
I
17.
17 year.
I had a
What is it?
I had a 4-year on it. They're all
What's it
4
say?
years.
Just underneath the
2
barcode-
years,
barcode
kids.
back.
Which is
Two.
that
Just
is
underneath.
Oh yeah.
It's like a
man.
game of Where's
Holy
Waldo.
cow.
What's it say?
This
It's
is
aged over 2 years.
over
So-
2 years.
So it's
I
a
thought it said
2 to
4 years.
4 year blend.
Two to
It's
So
only
it's,
open
okay,
so it's
4
not
years.
3 years.
They call it a 3 year.
Yeah.
It's they've only been open 4 years.
Well, I had 5.
So 12's not
So
right.
what is
17's definitely
17's
not
way
right.
not
Look at Marshall.
What's
So I had
price?
5. I mean,
What
5's
the price
close.
was?
60
I just
bucks.
had oldest
Well,
on
This
single.
one is 70,
60, 70.
40,
Yeah.
55.
But that's
I
not-
believe. I could
There's
be
only
wrong.
2 distilleries in Tennessee that have bourbon that old.
Absolutely.
Single barrel?
I would pay 70 just for this cork. It looks like a piece of bark.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
It's a
what I told
live
him
edge
earlier.
cork. It's real cork.
Live edge cork.
He said they had a patent on it.
Yeah. So they're the only ones that can produce that cork.
Well, there you go.
By the way, it says mash bill 1. There's 4 mash bills of rye, 4 mash bills of bourbon.
That has all
We'll
the-
see the rest of them soon.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the only one released.
My
so
God. You came true to your name. The
Boys,
damn
hard truths.
Bourbon
Killing
Ninja.
Well, listen,
By the way, none of them are high rye. They're all rye. I was just kind of trying to throw a wrench.
Can we change your name?
What?
You're the Rye Ninja.
Right.
Bourbon engine. All right.
well, rye's not a bourbon.
I'm not a big rye guy, honestly, but I just happened
Well,
to stumble
you-
upon these beautiful ryes, all right near my home. So
Yeah.
That is cool.
That's amazing. Well, that's
So I didn't see the hard truth box when you come in, and I was like, no, it's just a box.
Yeah, it's like bringing in a fucking West Fork whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gents,
Yeah, it was a great night, great
Absolutely,
tasting.
they're all good burgers.
The
They're
nose,
good
like I
rye.
said,
Good
the
whiskey.
nose threw me off on all of them, but
age statement threw me off on all of it.
yeah.
That was crazy.
yeah, they're not very old. I mean, honestly, like 4 years and under, all
Yeah.
4 of them, all 4 of them.
I like wrong.
Yeah, did you get to
That's
try
it.
the single barrel, the 55% rye? It's
That
a little
was
higher
close to
rye.
my. That would be like my number 2. I still like C better.
I still like
So
me
the-
better, but
yeah,
that's going.
C is my number.
See, I don't. I like that one that came out of the box the best.
You like it
Single
better
barrel.
than.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more of the caramels and vanillas and that. A lot of that stuff you get with
It's
the
fucking hot too.
It's hot,
It's
yeah.
hotter.
barrel.
The sweet mash rye to me seemed really hot whenever I first tried it. I added a couple drops of water. and
I
it
had
opened
that
up.
as the hottest at 127.
Yeah.
5 years old, and it was 115.
I had
3 years old.
3 years old. I mean, that's not crazy
Yeah.
off.
Every,
But
every dog has his day. I was right there.
yeah, you were. That's you were damn near perfect on
What
that.
was the proof on A?
90.
90.
I had it 107.
I had 96.
I had
What
98. Mine
was
was 18.
115?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was C?
100.
100.
Yeah, I was way
I
off
was way
on
off on C.
C.
It wasn't too far off there. Not at all there. Terrible.
I was 19 high on C, or 29 high on C.
Guys, cheers to another great night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Salute.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't
Nice to
reach,
see you again.
I can reach that far.
Nice to see you again. Hopefully it's not our last meeting. Sir.
Yes, I read about all this legislation and everything that went on for that ride. Totally cool. This totally cool. I'm not against sourcing. I just want to get that out there. I'm not against sourcing. I love sourcing. I'm against bad sourcing.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see distillers.
And I'm against, honestly, I like hard truth.
Of every time Jordan says MGP.
But no, I'm against, I love MGP. You guys are giving me a bad name. But the Schoonover, which came from an undisclosed distillery, no, I'm not doing that about you. That's what it says on the bottle. Undisclosed. 2 distilleries in Tennessee make friggin' whiskey that they have enough that they can source. Jack Daniels
Dick.
and Dickel. Period. Everybody knows it came from Dickel. You maybe not. When we cut it, maybe we'll figure something out. But to charge $250 a bottle, that's pretty ballsy.
180. It hasn't been 250. I don't think.
It was $250.
Maybe the day they released it.
No, Big Red Liquors in Bloomington. I'm sure it's still $250.
Really? I haven't-
Because you know they had the variants. There was the straight bourbon, then there was like a smoked maple. There were like 3 other variants beside that. Because you could go out there and get a flight. They had all 4 of them, and every single review that I read said it is not worth $250 a bottle. No way.
I think the variants were up there near 250.
Were they?
Yeah.
And I would prefer
not seen
the straight over the variants.
Do you write down
Here's
what
the
all these
kosher.
are?
Cool.
On your notes.
I do.
I figured you did.
Caramel.
Salmon patty.
Salmon patty. Chili. Chili.
Do you have a list of all the ones that we've
Total
done?
saturated.
These are all tacked together each week in my.
Because I'm like, when I
Guys.
think about the next week, I'm like, have we done
Beach
this?
swell.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I only have so many.
Thanks for tuning in.
No,
Yep.
Oh shoot, we're still.
We're still live.
We're still live, everybody.
Put that on the cracker
Next week.
Put it on a cracker doodle. Put it on a cracker doodle.
Put it on the cracker doodle.
Until next week, dude.
Love you guys.
Bye.